Hey everybody, we're back working on that Malibu. We're going to be putting on a new starter today. It also goes on an Equinox, as long as it's a 1.5 liter. I think it was from 2016 to 2018. That's what the appendix looks like. I got this from AutoZone for $100, lifetime warranty. It does come with a little drain for right there, a little rubber thing that comes out further. Put that on later. They didn't have it in stock in my local one, so they had to ship it. When it got shipped, like this helps anything, but this was destroyed on the first one, so you had to bring me in a new one. This is with the start-stop. My buddy's just having some problems with it now that it's getting a bit colder, and he puts high miles on it. You're gonna start by popping the hood, which the lever is right down here on your left side. Equinox may be a little bit different. And I think they're in the Cruze, the Chevy Cruze. If your engine looks like that, I think I got my sticker up here. Yeah, it's right. Oh, Jesus, there we go. 18, 1.5 liter with the turbo up front. You're going to start by disconnecting the battery. Battery on the Malibu is right here. You just open a little flap on that side, and there is one right there. You just pry that out. That'll slide backwards. Engine's pretty dirty on this one. Hopefully yours is cleaner. I'll put that to the side. Now he's got a wire that runs to the back to run different batteries, because it's a tow car, and all your cigarette ports shut off when you're going down the road, and he's got to have a brake booster. I take off the positive. The negative is on this side if you just flip that. But I'm going to be messing with, it's really dirty in here. I did let him know that. But since I'm messing with the power cable that actually goes to the battery, or to the starter, which is a positive, I'm just going to take the positive off. Normally put a little rag around it once I pull it off. It is a 10 millimeter. You can go shallow or deep, but I like extensions and all that, so I don't touch anything else. You don't have to do not take the nut off all the way. You just got to loosen it a little bit. It's kind of around like a little. There, now pull right off. You just got to wiggle it. That pulls right off. It has a little clip. See that little clip on the left side? He'll just pop right off. Then you can just leave this anywhere. I'm going to put a little rag in between there. There, come back with my grease rag. There, put a little grease rag in there. You can make sure the power is shut off to the car, because I know this car has another battery that runs for a little bit for nothing kicked on. So you're all good. Now, I'm sure if you got a lift, you're pretty experienced. You shouldn't even be really watching this video other than if you want to know what sizes fit everything. But if you have a lift and you lift it up, make sure you put the hood down, because with low clearance lifts, you're going to need a new hood. You guys can determine how you need to jack it up, but the starter is on the back side underneath, and there's plenty of room back there until I get back there and look at it and I don't see it. Okay, we got it in the air, and there's where you normally drain the oil. It's right above there, up in there. As you can see, the exhaust is right here. Everything's a bit oily because I just lubed up everything and did an oil change. No, that's not leaking. I lubed the boots so they stay all rubbery. There's a little drain port that I was talking about. Right here, there's a little L bracket right there. Take off the one that's bolted to the block, not the one that's on the back of the starter. Because if you take that one off, that bracket's still there, and when you pull out the ones out there, you gotta slide this backwards and out of the housing, and that bracket's still gonna be there. So don't even worry about that. The bolts that hold it on, all right, there's one right there, there's one up high. It looks like I'm gonna have to use a deep 15 millimeter on that one. Probably gonna use an extension and shallow on that, and gonna get that one. Make sure as you pull them off, you do not let the starter drop. The cables are on the top, blind, I can't see them. All the housing up there stops me from looking down from the top. I guess you could use like a little scope or something. I'm using a extension, get me past the starter, or the the alternator. I broke it loose and it looks like it'll just come right out with my hand. Now make sure your car is cooled off, because I first got in the air and I was like, sweet, I'll make the rest of this video. And the starter housing was hot for one, and the exhaust is right here. Them came right out. I'm going to put anti-seize on them when I put them back in, so next time this starter goes bad, it's easy to change. There is one of the bolts. Put them somewhere where you aren't going to kick them. I don't know if I'd really want to do this if I had just a jack. Also, the warranty on that from AutoZone is unlimited. An unlimited mile. Let me put this down so I don't strip it out. Put you guys down. No, a flashlight. It's unlimited miles and lifetime warranty. If you go to Napa, like most people have a Napa everywhere. Napa is only like 150,000 miles. Most people don't even keep their car that long, but I think that's kind of a joke, because this car is going to have 150,000 miles on it in a year. Okay, I broke that one loose. Looks like there's two, and that may be a pin right there coming out of the transmission to keep it in line. Which, as much as this thing starts, that ain't much holding that on. I guess starters have come a long way. Got me something that helps out a little bit more. Harbor Freight little electric thing. Electric 3/8 ratchet. Don't use a quarter, which is a small size, to take off your starter. I'm going to take out the top one, as it's going to be more blind. And I'd rather it hinge on the bottom one so I don't yank on the wires. Get out of there. Okay. I remember you got that battery unhooked, and it's too long of an extension. So you don't want an extension that long. Okay, let's try this again. Normal extension. Of course, somebody put it on. Can I see up in there? Oh, yeah. Be nice if it just breaks it loose. It does everything for me. Well, I had a little swivel tip on it. I wouldn't recommend using swivels, but will it break it loose? No. Of course not. Okay. Okay, I had to put down the camera a little bit. Took out the bottom bolt, which goes right there. It looks the same as the one on the back. Don't look like I'd really get mixed up. Took out the top, which came out as a nut. If it's in there a long time, it may come out with nut and stud. Or nut and bolt, I guess. It just came out like that, thank goodness. Guess as the car gets older, it may not come out as good. My other bolt was over here. Okay, so there's a difference in length. Shorter one goes on the block. Longer one goes into the transmission, most likely. Who knows, with new technology, it could be a darn bell housing like back in the day. And now I'm going to yank on it a little bit, see if it'll pull out of there. Hopefully I don't freak out and drop the phone because more stuff falls in my face. Just going to wiggle it. Ooh. Oh, that's way in there. I think these wires are getting in the way. I have to pop off the rest of that bracket. That was a 13 millimeter. And because I have the phone in my hand, it's hard to. Oh, look at the wires are actually on that bracket. So I guess you gotta take that whole bracket off so far. Most likely there's gonna be a if you can see way up here, there's a red safety thing so it don't fall off here accidentally. Most likely there's going to be one on the starter. Pulled out all the way now. Okay, yeah, it just wants to come right out now. Should have a really big wire on it somewhere. Of course, everything is still tied up from the factory. Okay, so I'm going to take off this one without the camera because it's almost impossible. There is the safety clip. Let's see if I can do that on the camera. You just gotta pop it up. I'd push down the clip first just in case it got yanked in its lifetime on the car. Let's see if I can focus. There we go. Push up on the safety clip. Then you push in and it pops right out. This, I'll tell you guys once I come back what size it is. I actually got that starter flipped around. If you could do it blind from using this video to maybe reach in there somehow and take it off. There's two on there. That bottom one ain't gonna do you no good because it goes into the starter. But the other one turned out to be a 14, at least on the old one. 14 deep, because you need to go through there. If you use a shallow, it's just gonna bottom out. But I rested it up on that little air hose. Sure it's vacuum hose or something. It's kind of hard to get this clip out of here, but I figure I may try to do it on the camera so people don't think I took the car somewhere else. Different type of clip. It doesn't just pop out. It looks like it clips over the whole thing. You don't want to break that. I'll get that other thing out, the nut off there first. 14 millimeter. Make sure you got the battery disconnected or you're going to arc it on something right here. Gotta put you down. Okay, so if you get the Duralast, this is a 13 here, I'll show you. 13, 1-3. It will not fit over that. Definitely too big of a nut. But if you go up here, 13 fits right on that one. So the factory is a 13. The aftermarket is a 14. And when you turn this in, keep this nut. I don't need it back. You never know if that nut won't come off next time, and you can put another nut on it. Sorry for bitting all this video together, but at least you're getting what you need. Good news, starter's ready to fall on my face. So I took a screwdriver, and after I got that nut off, I put the screwdriver, my finger actually loosened it a little bit, but I put my screwdriver right in there, standard head, and just pried that out a little bit, and then push the plug tight, and then push the little connector in. Here, I'll show you a little bit. Sometimes I don't like showing everything, but then somebody's like, well, you didn't show everything. The transmission flushed one time, and somebody's like, oh, you didn't change the filter. And then you just push that back, and then push that down, popped right in. But you want to push it in, and then push it down, because sometimes it's strain against it, and it won't come out. And I'll pull that starter wire off there. Normally a starter wire comes down, that's the end of the wire. This one just keeps going. Original GM. There's any numbers if you need them. It's got 150,000 miles on it, but it's a tow car, so it you got double that. Nothing looks too bad in there. Like it was acting up, so it's solenoid or the motor is just getting a bit wore out from starting at every stoplight. You can shift it down into manual, and it will not do that anymore. At least it'll light if you're stopping for a second. It don't look too bad. It looks almost twin to the new one. Yeah, looks pretty close. Got two there, plugs facing that way. You always want to compare, because sometimes you'll get a box and all they do is repair the starter when they get it. They don't know what it is. this is remanufactured. Somebody could put a different starter in there that they have sitting on the shelf for the core. Kind of what I did. And all they do is repair it and send it back under the number that it was originally under. So whoever gets my Grand Prix starter next time and it says it's for Malibu, I'm sorry. There's the bolt for that bracket. Everything seems to line right up. Make sure the housing isn't any longer. Sure, it does look like it in the video, but it's not. Now, if you want, this car ain't too big, but back in the day, this would start getting hot from starting the car all the time. You gotta make sure the wiring's all covered up. No mouse has been eating it. Make sure there's no mouse nest anywhere else. Looks like there's a pain in the butt sensor someday to change there, knock sensor. Looks like I got a little bit of seepage around the head or something. Just around where two joints meet. Make sure everything's good. This goes somewhere else. Normally starter cable just comes right down, that's it. Oh, it's branching over to the alternator, which is nice because now you can change all of it in one. It's kind of weird. Must be something with the start stop. And that one has the same plug, so if you ever change the alternator, which I think I just called it a starter. Yeah, it's not looking as good either. Showing age. Housing all looks good. Looks like it has a flywheel in there. Wondered what's in these because you can't get to the flywheel. It's all blocked off. You can't drain it. And they say it's good for 100,000 miles, but this one needs, the training needs serviced every 40. It starts acting up, and then when you service it, it goes right back to normal. I got that baby up there. It's heavy. Could not have done that in the video. Put the drain plug on it. Looks all shiny up there. Too bad you can't see it from the outside. You want to push that clip in until it clicks. And then just push it in one more time because you don't want to have to do this again. And then just push that little clip until it's flush. Mine went, well, however you want to call it, flush. It's flush, there's no crap in between. Put this starter wire in. Actually has a little stopper so you can't mess it up. There's a little plate there, and that plate's square, so it needs to go directly that way. Make sure you have a lock washer. Don't use a lock nut. Now remember, the new one, at least from Duralast, is a 14 millimeter. Old one's a 13. You're gonna need deep. When I mean deep, it's like that. It ain't shallow like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you shouldn't even be doing this. I'm gonna use this to do it because I'm lazy. And I took it the wrong way. There we go. Sweet. That thing probably should get it as tight as what I need it. It's got a lot of amps going through it, and it goes through it a lot, especially with the start stop. So I'm going to do it without the camera in my hand so I know how tight I'm getting it. You guys can just listen. I like doing videos where you're there through the whole thing because you can skip through the video. But these people that like cut out and then come back later and they had someone else do the job, that's a ripoff. You're most likely only watching it to see what you need and how hard it is to do. It got off to the side a little bit, but that don't bother me too much. To get it all lined up, be a bigger hassle than what it's worth. Now I'm gonna line it back up. Remember, there's two studs that stick out. One of them's at the top. Slide it on and put in this bottom bolt, and the other one should line right up. Hopefully I gave myself enough room. Oh, how did that starter do that? On a walkie jawed. Oh, because the bolt's still in the back of the starter. You're going to want to take that out. I'm probably going to use the original one it came with. It felt a little bit more bulky. As long as it fits in, because that looks a lot smaller than the... Oh, Jesus. Okay, that ain't it, is it? No, it was a 13. Where'd that go? Oh, down here. Yeah, one's a bit more bulkier. I'll probably reuse the original. It didn't have no problem coming out, so. Now remember, you don't want to yank on the wires too much. They're little dinky things. Oh, there we go. Whew. Got it to where it's kind of got to be. I'm going to twist it a little bit, and hopefully it just goes right in like that. Look at that. And that is easy. If you're watching this video, you probably haven't done too hard of ones. Black washer goes on the top. Put it on with my finger. When you're doing this, make sure that seal, see how it's spaced there? Make sure it goes clear against that, or it's going to be different on the flywheel. When it kicks that starter on, you'll shear it right off. Sure, your parts store will love you bringing in that. The whole top sheared off. Just a nut and a bolt holds it on. Then we're 15 millimeters with an extension, I believe. Yep, with an extension. I think I use that little one. There we go. I'm going to check everything manually, but I hate sitting there ratcheting it all around. It may take just as long. It's taking me longer because I look through the camera. Make sure that housing is still flush, which it is. It'll look a little bit dirty because you messed with it, plus you're putting new metal against old. And I'm going to put the hand ratchet up there. Just make sure. Now when you have somebody else do it, most likely they won't check all this unless it's a backyard mechanic. Trust them a little bit more. I just found out doing my tire rotation this time. I told him, took it in there for him, and I told him rotate the tires front to back, not side to side. What'd they do? They only rotated the right side tires. And the tires are marked because they rotate differently. And they get changed differently, so it's not all four at once, as long as they're the same tire. Now we're going to put that bracket on. Let's see if that even screws in there. Yep, screws right in. So we're going to use the original bolt. Put that bracket right up there. I don't really think anti-seize are needed on this one. It's probably going to be changed in another year anyways. It'll go bad. Duralast, I really am not impressed with them, but that's what he bought. I give it a year with his use. I'd rather him buy original. Is that the right bolt? Yep, that was the right bolt. And this is the last bolt. That's a 15. Get rid of a little bit of the work. There we go. Check it with the manual one. I don't need to do no video on this thing starting. The other day I did a video for everyone. That's pretty tight from just a little toy doing it. I did a video on 13 and it rolled clear over here. Geesh, I don't even know what I did it on. Oh. On cleaning your intake. And somebody was like, well, you gotta show the car still worked after that. I'm like, oh, geez. Okay. It's all set up. Brand new starter. Duralast from AutoZone. I got it for about $100. They have commercial accounts you can run it under, which is what I did. Most likely you're going to pay the $140, and then you got a $40 core, which means they want your old starter back so they can rebuild it and resell it to you. I normally take in any starter, but if I already have it off, I'll take it in. This one was going out, so I'll replace it as I get to it. Yeah, hopefully this helps somebody out. I use 10 millimeter. Don't forget to hook your battery back up. 10 millimeter for the battery. Screwdriver to take that little cover off. Screwdriver to pop that little red clip out. And a 15 millimeter, 13 millimeter, all in 3/8 drive. Don't use 1/2 inch. Takes up too much room up in there. And 2 different extensions. That's all it takes. A little bit of elbow grease. I barely got dirty doing that. So, yeah. I don't know if I'd really do it with the car on stands. On the front, maybe all 4 in the air. I'm a fat guy, so I need my room. Hopefully this helped you guys. Well, I got the battery hooked up and everything. I've started it once. But being that Duralast starter, it's not OEM, so they got to change something a little bit different. And if it's a sound they changed, I can't stand it. You know, you're stopping at lights, and in the summertime, people have their windows down, the tops down, they hear your vehicle. I don't really care what they think, but I don't want to be loud. I sound like a darn electric car starting now. Listen to this. I'm only going to do it twice. This is from inside the vehicle. The windows are open. It's like zing! You can hear it zing up before it even actually starts starting the car, and then it zings, makes like a zinging sound a little bit after. I'm going to put it out the window and point it at the ground. Listen to it. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. I'm gonna have to look at the listen to the video to hear it, but it almost sounds like water spraying everywhere, but you know it's not. If you want it to be quiet, yeah, you know what, let's remote start it from the outside and see if we hear it out there. Maybe it's a inside only kind of thing. No, it sounds awful. If you want that sound to be gone, I guess you'd buy OEM, or maybe this Duralast one isn't no good. But I can't stand that sound. Guess I'll keep it for the warranty for now. Hopefully it helps somebody out. You watch this far to see that it is louder, much louder.